right, where you want to go today?
To the grocery store.
All right, I guess we're still in quarantine, right?
I know.
Everything's closed. National parks, I think, are closed. The provincial parks, every restaurant, every tourism business, probably the hotels, the airlines.
I know, and the worst part is that we don't know when are we gonna be able to explore again.
I know, and it's getting a little boring.
I know it is. But lucky for us to live in this era, technology can make it way more fun.
Yeah, there you can still actually explore Canada from the comfort of your own home. So yes, thanks to the internet, there's plenty of ways to explore Canada from the comfort of your own home. Obviously, one of them is our YouTube channel.
Yes.
We have lots of videos from every province and territory now in the country, but you already know about that.
Yeah, but also we have videos about different cities and different national parks. So if you haven't watched all of our videos, this is a great time to get inspired for your next adventure in Canada.
But also there's lots of cool things that have popped up online. We've seen everything from free courses, the free seminars and things like that, but also in terms of Canada, there's lots of free virtual museum tours.
Yeah, and one of them is the Royal Ontario Museum, known as ROM, which is the largest museum in Canada, and it's located in the city of Toronto.
We actually visited, I guess it would have been in 2017 when we did the video for the Road to 150. I don't think we featured it too much though, because
cameras were not allowed.
Yeah, copyright laws and things like that. But I really remember the blue whale exhibit. It was amazing to learn about that massive creature. They had a Mini Cooper there, I remember, to symbolize how big its heart was. Like, it's crazy. So you can actually see that now online, and you can basically take a tour of that whole exhibit for free.
Another museum that is offering some kind of videos is the Canadian Museum for Human Rights, which is located in Winnipeg, Manitoba, and is one of our favorite museums of all time.
Yeah, I mean, mostly, I guess a lot of it's because of the message. Obviously, human rights are very important, and you get to learn a lot about the kind of horrible atrocities that have happened across the world and here in Canada. And then, you know, how humans have come together to overcome that. And then at the top of it is an amazing view of Winnipeg as well.
Yeah, and the building itself is so pretty. It has a meaning behind the architecture, which is pretty cool. But yeah, like, the message is just awesome. It's really like makes you understand what human rights stands for, and try to sometimes question yourself and how you violate some human rights, not even thinking about it. So yeah, for sure I recommend you to go and look at the website, because it's a very, very amazing museum.
Another one on there is the Canadian Aviation and Space Museum in Ottawa, which we just visited last year actually.
Yeah,
that's also a really cool place. Like, the amount of airplanes they have in this museum is pretty incredible, dating all the way back to
from the very first plane. And isn't it like they actually have hanging from the ceiling the very first plane that landed in Canada, right?
I think so, yeah. I can't remember the whole story, but it's one of the ones with the two wings, and it's made out of wood, I think. And I don't know, it's unbelievable to see. And then of course the space area as well, to learn about space exploration and the Canadarm.
Yes.
So yeah, now you can see it all online for free, but those are just 3 that we're mentioning. There's a bunch of other ones on there that we've actually never visited so far, but we'll have them all listed on our website at Must Do Canada. I think it's called 13 Fun Things to Do at Home, but we'll have it in the description below.
Yeah, but also in this video we want to test ourselves to see how much we know of Canada and how much we remember about everything that we have learned in our various trips across the country. But this will be also a good time for you to test yourself and see how much you know about Canada. And if you're Canadian, probably there's some interesting facts that you're gonna be amazed at, and we're gonna tell you more about it and see who knows better. Like, if you and me, let's see who wins.
And if you don't know anything, now you will.
Let's see who goes first.
Rock, paper, scissors. Rock, paper, scissors. Rock, paper, scissors.
What is Canada's most visited National Historic Site?
National Historic Site. I know the most visited national park.
Which is?
Banff National Park.
Yeah.
So historic site though. Well, I guess I'm just gonna say maybe the cave and basin.
No.
No.
So wrong. So the most visited National Historic Site in Canada is the Halifax Citadel. And we actually also have only visited once.
I've been there a couple times, I think, but yeah.
Yeah, and that was in the Road to 150 in 2017, and I really love it because not only, of course, you learn about the history, but also they do these, what would you say, like the characters?
Yeah, well, it's kind of like a living museum, so people are dressed up as the characters would be back in the day.
Yeah.
So they can explain the history to you, but also do kind of almost like a reenactment.
Yeah, which I find that is the best way to learn. And I remember that also it was there where I shot my first rifle, and it was a rifle from what?
I can't remember. They have a program
1920 or something like that.
I think it's called like Ready, Aim, Fire. That you can sign up for in advance, and yeah, you get to fire this really old rifle. I think it's the one that they stuff with.
Yes.
With gunpowder, so.
And we were all actually like wearing our like old uniforms and everything. It was super cool.
The British uniform, I guess, right?
Yeah, so super cool.
Yeah,
so
cool
there
place
you
to
go.
Definitely, you have to go there if you're in Halifax for sure. So mine's all written in indecipherable, really bad handwriting. That way, no one can understand it except me. So I won't ask you that one because it's kind of similar.
Oh.
What was Canada's first UNESCO World Heritage Site?
The one, Nahanni National Park.
Yeah, well, I'll give you that one because it's kind of a tide. It's kind of a weird. So Nahanni National Park in the Northwest Territories kind of also claims to be the first one, but also lands on meadows. And Newfoundland is kind of the first one. So they're both kind of the first, we'll say. But here's another interesting fact. They're actually the first UNESCO World Heritage Sites in the world. And that was the beginning of UNESCO World Heritage Site.
So for sure, Nahanni National Park is very hard to get to, remember?
Yeah, it's a very hard park to get to, yeah. You definitely
need to be prepared, so most likely you can go to Lands of Meadows. And our first time was just last year, right?
Yeah, because it's also kind of not as hard to get to, but it's pretty far out there. First of all, you got to get to Newfoundland, then you got to do a road trip up the Viking Trail, which is pretty cool. And at the very end on that northern tip of Newfoundland is Lands on Meadows, where the Vikings landed, I don't know, thousands of years ago, I guess. But Nahanni Park, what did you think about it?
Well, we loved it because we really, I don't think many people hear about this in National Park because it's just way up there. And the only way to get there is by plane. Don't look at my questions. No, this one is too easy. You're gonna know. Well, no, this one. Which city has the most restaurants per capita in Canada?
Per capita. Oof, I don't think we've ever really learned that though.
No, but like.
But I mean, I would guess Toronto or Vancouver. So let's go with Toronto.
It's actually Quebec City. There's 27 restaurants per 10,000 people. And yeah, we were just there this last winter. We've been
just
there.
Last month. Well, in February.
Yeah.
Right before this whole mess happened.
Yeah. But we've been there before also in the summer. And yeah, they have very cool small restaurants, and the province of Quebec, it really has a lot of unique dishes, right? Like we actually went to a few local restaurants in Quebec City and they were yummy.
Mm-hmm.
So.
What's Canada's most easterly, westerly, northerly, and southerly point?
Yeah, right. Easterly is in Newfoundland.
Yeah.
Of course, Cape Spear. Westernly, isn't it like Prince Rupert or something like that? No, no, it's well, of course, the island, Vancouver Island.
No.
But like the point. No. No, that's not true. It was like, no, hold on.
Too late.
It wasn't. That's such a long, that's 4 questions.
Mine was hard. How do I know restaurants?
Well, tell us then.
So the most easterly point, she's right, is Cape Spear in Newfoundland. And that's probably the easiest one to visit as well. And it's actually, we've been there a couple times. Once when it was clear, super beautiful.
Yes.
Once when it was so foggy you could barely see your hand in front of you. But we still, if we ever go back again, I want to be there at sunrise because it's the first sunrise in Canada.
Oh.
Every day it's the first sunrise in Canada. And it's even a half hour before the other Atlantic provinces. So it's a beautiful spot and easy to get to. The southernmost point is also like semi-easy to get to. It's a little island kind of off Ontario. It's actually more south than 13 US states because of the way Canada is shaped. If you look where Toronto is, it dips down. So it's near like Cleveland and Windsor, Ontario. It's a little island. It's uninhabited, really popular for birds. It's like a protected site. The most northerly region is a place called Ellesmere Island near Alert. The closest town would be Alert, which is really up there.
Oh yeah, Ellesmere. I remember that they
Circle.
mentioned that. Yeah.
Hard to get to for sure, and very expensive. And the furthest westerly point I always thought was Vancouver Island because it seems like that, but it's actually Kluane National Park.
Yes,
in the Yukon, and a very specific part of Kluane right on the edge of Alaska.
Yeah, I remember they mentioned that.
And the only way to get there is if you're a hardcore mountaineer, and there's some pictures of people there with like covered in frost, or just like fly over it. But yeah.
Mention 3 of the darkest dark preserves in Canada.
So it's just a dark sky preserve.
It's not dark, it's dark. It's good. Remember that it seemed that it was double.
Well, it's just because I know 2 of them anyway. So the one in Saskatchewan, Grasslands National Park, one of our favorite national parks. That's the darkest dark sky preserve because it's number 1.
Dark.
But they're all called dark sky preserves, and they're basically protected areas or just areas that have been designated good spots to see the stars and things like that. There's
with
no
less,
light pollution.
Yeah.
So number 2 is Jasper National Park. But the third one I actually don't know. I would just have to guess.
Here where I found the answers, he didn't name them as 1, 2nd, or 3rd. They actually named 13 preserves in Canada. But I just, from out of those 13, which one will be a third
one?
Is
one like Elk Island National Park in Alberta?
No. So the other ones is Cavendish Beach in PEI, Hopewell Rocks Provincial Park in New Brunswick, Iqaluit, of course, in Nunavut,
all of Canada's north, basically.
Kejimkujik National Park in Nova Scotia. I've never heard about that national park.
We haven't been there, no?
Wood Buffalo National Park in the Northwest
grew up.
Territories.
Okay, because it's in both Alberta and Northwest Territories.
Okay. And another one, it was Tongat Mountains National Park in Newfoundland.
In Labrador, that one.
Newfoundland and Labrador. So there you go. So, but for sure, we've been in grasslands. Oh my God, it's so beautiful. So if you go, you gotta stay overnight because one of the best parts of that national park is to really see the sky.
And last year we were there, I think in August, or September actually. It was towards the end of the season, and it was so cool. We came out of the cabin at like probably 11 p.m. when it gets dark here, and we thought we saw like a tent in the distance because it's like pitch black and it was orange. So I thought like a tent with a flashlight because some people take photography like that. But then eventually it was like rising and we realized like it was the moon. We were actually seeing the moon rise, but for some reason the way the sun was reflecting its light on the moon, it was like making
super
it
orange,
so bright that it actually, you couldn't see stars anymore.
Yeah.
Really cool.
So I don't think we have a video because of course you cannot, like, you won't see that. We got some pictures, but literally you can see the Milky Way.
What's one really cool fact, like the number 1 coolest fact about the US-Canada border? It's number 1 for something in the world.
That makes it unique?
Yeah. It's a record. It's number 1 as a record in the world.
It's like, I don't know, like people that cross the border to buy maple syrup.
So definitely wrong. And the fact is, it's actually the longest unprotected border in the world.
Oh shoot! Yes, I knew that.
There's actually some parts of the
But you say
U.S.-Canada
like
border
coolest.
that actually have nothing there. You can literally cross. I've heard there's a place in Saskatchewan that you cross the border and there's literally like a post where you're supposed to like sign in because there's no guards there. But I don't know if nowadays it's probably pretty strict. But anyways, it's unprotected. There's no military at our borders between the U.S. and Canada, and it's a massive border, like 4,000 or 5,000 kilometers long.
Yeah, I knew that, but that's not the coolest thing.
It's pretty cool.
Which one is the biggest ski resort in Canada?
Whistler.
Ah, yes. I knew you were gonna know that one.
And we haven't been there.
No, we haven't. So there's another place that we gotta go.
See, the one thing when you're in Calgary anyways is that like Whistler is a 12-hour drive. It's really far. It's around Vancouver. It's also a very expensive ski resort. And to be honest, like all the ski, we have like, I don't know, maybe 12,
we are
15
2 hours
ski
away
resorts.
from Banff National Park.
Yeah, and there's probably 12 or 15 ski resorts within a 4-hour drive of us. So, and they're all like world class. So in some ways it's hard to make the effort to drive all the way to Whistler.
Yeah.
But one day we have to go because it's probably world famous, I guess, Whistler.
Yeah, so now it's 1-on-1.
Where was Confederation signed in Canada?
Charlottetown.
Prince Edward Island.
Yeah.
You can actually, it's a cool place.
Yeah, I like it
Charlottetown.
too. And we did this Confederation tour with these also people dressed like in the old times.
They bring you on a tour around the city.
And it was super interesting. I really recommend doing all these kind of tours in the cities because it really becomes way more interesting. We even did one in Vancouver and we learned so much about Vancouver and I find it super interesting.
And that one's called Forbidden City Tours, and they teach you about the dark side of Vancouver back in the day with the opium riots and stuff like that you don't think of anymore.
Okay, this one is kind of funny. Where is the largest parking lot in Canada?
The largest parking lot. Walmart? No, I'm just kidding.
No,
I don't know.
2. West Edmonton Mall.
Oh yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, because it was at some point the largest mall in the world.
Yeah, it's still actually the largest mall in North America.
In North America.
Yeah, which is weird when you think about it because Edmonton's a relatively small city. It's 3 hours north of Calgary. It's only got, let's say, 1 million people now. But when that mall was made in the 80s or 70s, it was probably like 400,000 people, and it's massive, eh?
Yeah, and Matthew loved it when he was little because tell them everything that it's in the mall.
Well, first of all, I grew up 5 hours north of Edmonton in a little city called Fort McMurray. So, of course, for a kid coming from a small town, when you get to Edmonton, it felt like now what it would feel like in New York, like Edmonton. But no, it's a great mall. There's
it's cool.
There's like 800 stores, but for me, most importantly, there's a water park.
That's fun. They have so many slides. Some of them are very scary.
Sure, it's still the world's largest indoor water park. It's massive. Then there's an indoor theme park with like a roller coaster. It's actually a pretty good roller coaster, and all kinds of other stuff. There's like mini golf.
Yes.
There's a theater. It used to be a cool theater too, with a dragon that would breathe fire as you're going up the escalator.
Your best memories are from there.
There's an aquarium.
Oh yeah, an aquarium. Yes.
Now I don't know what's there anymore because we haven't been there since 2017. But yeah, there's lots of stuff in there.
Yeah,
like, it's definitely, and they have a cool hotel there with themed rooms. So you could,
called Fantasyland.
As a kid, we'd stay in like the Western one, and you're sleeping in like the wagon inside the room and stuff like that. And you literally don't have to leave the mall for like probably 3 days. You can
I guess it's perfect for a country where you have 6 months of winter.
Yeah.
Acha! He's so competitive.
Well, it's because this one is barely a question. Why don't I just ask you? I'm just gonna ask you them all for fun.
I know. All right, go.
And well, I'll ask you one for the point, and then I'll just ask you the rest because they're pretty easy. So that way everyone hears them. So they're all easy. What was the last province to join confederation?
Newfoundland.
Newfoundland and Labrador.
In 1947, when your father was born?
1949.
Oh, shoot.
When my dad was 2, they joined
yeah.
confederation, so they were the last ones.
Yes. That's something that I learned from my citizenship
So that was the
test.
fifth question anyway.
Okay.
But I'll ask you the rest because they're easy. That way everyone hears them.
Okay.
Actually, this one I didn't write down the answer, so I can't ask you. It's going to be how many national parks we have, but I actually don't know offhand. How about this? This one's easy. What country has the most coastline in the entire world?
What? Which one?
Which country has the most coastline in the world?
Well, but that's like if it's about Canada.
It's an easy one, but a lot of people don't know
easy.
that because you never think of Canada as having like beaches and coastline. But yes, we have three oceans.
Yeah.
And a heck of a lot of coastline.
Uh-huh.
And why did Canada choose Ottawa as the capital?
Because of its proximity between the English side and the French side.
Yeah, so if you ever make it to Ottawa or if you watch our video, you'll notice that you can actually just walk across the bridge, probably 5 or 10 minutes from the Parliament building, and you're in Quebec.
Yeah, so a good place to learn about all that history is the Bytown Museum, which is just by the Fairmont.
Yeah, like
the Chateau Laurier Fairmont in Ottawa. It's very cool.
I remember learning that, because Ottawa right now is known as a pretty safe, calm city, but back in the day it wasn't. I guess it was a very like rough and tumble type blue collar town. Now it's like Parliament. So
yeah, so gotta check it out. So now I have other questions. What's the longest bridge in the world over ice-covered waters?
Is it in Canada?
Yes, everything is
then
in
it's
Canada.
Confederation Bridge, probably, no?
Which
connects? Crosses from New Brunswick to Prince Edward Island.
Oh, good.
Yeah, that bridge is amazing to drive across. It's like 17 kilometers. It's one of the few places in Canada that has a toll that you pay to cross, but it's pretty cool. Like when you're in the middle, you almost don't see land.
No, so that just one more. This one is just for fun. Well, what's Canada's oldest city?
St. John's, Newfoundland.
Yeah, which was founded in 1497. One of our favorite provinces. I don't know, well, we know why, but it's especially the people, the music, the food, like it feels so different from the rest of Canada. I think that I always say this in every single video about Newfoundland, but yeah, we really like it.
Yeah, you definitely have to watch our St. John's episode and our Newfoundland episode.
You wanna go for sure. Which province is home to Canada's tallest mountain? But you know what's Canada's tallest mountain?
It's either BC or the Yukon, so... Yukon?
Yes, and what's the mountain?
You almost tricked me because you said province and not territory.
Ah, well, because that's how they have it.
Is it like Mount Logan or something?
Yes,
like that?
Mount Logan,
Wow.
which its peak is at 5,959 meters.
And that's where you'll find Canada's most westerly point. Close to there, so... So I should get that point, and now we're tied.
Yeah, right. And then one more, and this is just fun. Which city is considered the coldest city in Canada?
The coldest city in Canada? Is it like a major city kind of thing?
Well, yes, it's like a major city for where it is.
Because I would say also maybe like Whitehorse
No.
or Yellowknife.
No. It's actually Winnipeg. The coldest ever recorded was at 47.8 Celsius in December of 1879. And on average is covered in snow for 132 days in the year.
Which is surprising because like Winnipeg is relatively south for Canadian cities, but I guess it must just be in that, it's right in the middle kind of thing.
Yeah, but for sure I would have thought like Iqaluit, like in Nunavut or the Northwest Territories or Yukon, not Winnipeg. But I guess it's because maybe permanently it has like the coldest days in the year.
And before we go, actually, if you're going to be in Winnipeg, since we talked about west, north, south, and east, the middle, the center is kind of the center. The sign that says center of Canada is close to Winnipeg.
Oh yes.
Like 20 minutes away, you can get your photo there. And there's arguments about that because technically if you went like longitude and latitude, the center is like in Hudson Bay. somewhere up in almost in the Arctic, but
you're going across,
just
right?
across, it's the middle. So
Yes, so pretty good. So there you go. There's so many interesting facts about Canada.
I hope you learned as much as we did about Canada.
Yeah, and if you want to learn more, don't forget to watch our other videos and leave us in the comments like which place would you like us to go and explore more, or if there's something else that you would like to know, just send us a message, because we also need more ideas about these like videos from home.
Yeah, we're probably going to be doing a few more from home lately, so yeah, any questions, ideas whatsoever, leave them in the comments and we'll respond to everyone.
Okay, so happy quarantine.
Yeah.
Bye. I don't think I made this clear, but I won the Canadian trivia. I got 2 points and Matthew got 1.
Carla thinks she won, but I just let her win because otherwise I'd be in trouble.
Yeah, right.
So I did look it up. There's 38 national parks in Canada, and that's not including national park reserves, urban parks, historic sites, but just 38 national parks. And this is actually a really cool book from National Geographic and Parks Canada that explains them all. It's about 3% of Canada's land mass and about 340,000 square kilometers. So we have a lot of nature.